Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the video for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. My name is VinusSG, and in this Final Fantasy VII Rebirth video guide, I'm going to break down how to use Cloud as easy as possible. I'll go over his different attack modes, his combat options, abilities, and best materia to start with. Now, really quickly, if you're new here, please do me a favor and subscribe to this channel with all notifications on. I'd really appreciate it. And after this video is over, if it was helpful, head on over to my channel and check out more of my Final Fantasy VII Rebirth videos. Alright, so first things first, Cloud is super easy and super fun to use in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. He has two attack modes, which is his unique ability in the game, Operator Mode and Punisher Mode. When you get into a fight, he's always going to start out in Operator Mode. Operator Mode is basically his spam attack mode. You can button mash square and pretty much kill most things, like the smaller enemies, but with bosses and things, you might not want to just spam, but use a mix of both Punisher and Operator Mode. Alright, so with Operator Mode, you can press square 5 times in a row, and that's his basic spam combo. You can also hold square at any time during the 5 square combo to follow up his attack with a sweeping slash. If you press circle while in Operator or Punisher Mode, Cloud does a dodge spin to avoid getting hit, but you can follow up his dodge spin with another square attack and do a couple of useful things. If you dodge and spam the square button, Cloud will shoot out a few ranged attacks, like little blade beams. He shoots 4 in a row if you spam it and then follows up with a lunge attack at whatever you were attacking. Or if that target is down, he auto switches to the next target and lunges at that instead. Now, if you don't spam the button and instead just hold it down after a dodge roll when you're locked onto a target that is away from Cloud, either on the ground or in the air, Cloud will shoot one blade beam out and follow that up with a flying lunge towards that target so that you can melee attack them with more square spam combos. And likewise, if you are locked onto a target that is away from Cloud, you can trigger the lunge chase just by holding down the attack button. No dodge spin is really necessary. When you're locked onto flying enemies and you use the dodge spin into square attack and hold it, Cloud will quickly close the distance and start melee attacking the target while in the air. And unless something stops him, he will remain in the air swinging his sword at your locked on target. While in the air, you can spam melee attacks, use airborne skills such as Braver or Triple Slash, and you can even dodge to avoid incoming attacks and remain airborne. You can end the aerial combo by pressing triangle to do a sort of finisher attack that brings Cloud back down to the ground, or you can just stop attacking. And I just want to add here that with Cloud, it's especially important that when you are attacking a target that you press the R3 button that's clicking in on the right analog stick. This locks onto this target so that you don't accidentally switch to another one, and Cloud will stay locked onto this target until it either dies or leaves the screen for some unknown reason. Pressing triangle switches Cloud's stance from Operator Mode to Punisher Mode. In Punisher Mode, he walks slow and can't run, but his attacks are a lot stronger. Now you can easily switch back to Operator Mode by pressing triangle again whenever you want. What's commonly done with Cloud in Punisher Mode is his Punisher Mode counterattack. When you hold R1 in both modes, you block. In Rebirth, you can perfect block with Cloud in Operator Mode, and this will knock most smaller, non-boss enemies down. In Punisher Mode, when you hold block with Cloud, he goes into a counterattack stance that activates whenever he's hit with a melee attack. It absolutely does not work on ranged attacks like bullets or magic, though if a boss or something dives at Cloud while he is blocking in Punisher Mode, the counterattack will still activate. When you successfully counterattack a target like this, it almost always fills that target's pressure gauge, which simultaneously greatly charges Cloud's ATB meter. It's a common strategy of mine to attack a target in Operator Mode, then quickly switch to Punisher Mode and hold block in anticipation of its counterattack, and then when it does its counterattack, Cloud counterattacks its counterattack, and then with the ATB meter charge, I use Cloud's stagger attack called Focus Thrust. In most cases, this will either stagger the enemy or else increase their pressure gauge by a considerable amount. Alright, now the pressure gauge, for those of you who just don't know, is the orange bar that enemies have that isn't their health bar. You get this bar meter high enough and it staggers the target, making them helpless, allowing you to attack them freely. While in Punisher Mode, Cloud can no longer lunge at enemies by holding square. Instead, if you hold square, you will do a sort of short hopping strike that will hit a locked on target if it's close enough. If you hold the button down, he follows up the hopping slash with a powerful attack that slams his sword into the ground. Now, there's something new they added to Rebirth in Cloud in Punisher mode. If you spam the attack button while in Punisher mode, Cloud will rush back and forth swinging his sword rapidly. This will juggle weaker enemies. You can end this rapid Punisher mode combo in two ways. If you hold square, Cloud will slam his sword into the ground, and if you press triangle, he'll do a quick dashing attack and return to operator mode. Okay, so let's talk about Cloud's abilities. He has a lot of abilities that are like the focus thrust that I talked about earlier. He has one called Braver and one called Triple Slash. When you get more weapons, they come with unique abilities like this that can only be used while that weapon is equipped. However, Cloud can master that ability with repeated uses so that he can use that ability no matter what weapon that he has equipped. This mechanic is the same for every character. Now, you can use these abilities freely provided that you have the ATB charge to do so. In this game, they made it even quicker to use these abilities in combat with the use of shortcuts. In combat, if you press and hold L1, this brings up the shortcut menu, and you can either press square, triangle, circle, or X to use an ability if you have one slotted to that specific button and you have enough ATB charge so you can do them fluently in a fight, mixing them in with Cloud's melee attacks. You could even go into the menu and select combat settings and change or add to this menu when you acquire a wider variety of skills. There is a specific menu for ground and one for air attacks. Just be aware, not every skill can be done in the air, though the game allows you to equip them to the air attack menu. For instance, you cannot cast Materia attack magic while airborne, though there are some magic attacks that you can use while in aerial combat. Next, I want to talk about Materia and which pieces work the best for Cloud. When the game starts up in the grasslands, you won't have access to a lot of materia. To get a wider variety though, use Chadley's combat simulator and do all of the combat training missions. You'll find various pieces of materia as you do missions as rewards or just found out in the wild. Cloud is an okay magic user, but Aerith and Red 13 are better, though Cloud is better at using magic than Barret and Tifa. When I say magic, I mean attack spells. Aerith is the best with healing magic, though realistically everyone on your team should have some form of healing magic just in case. When it comes to Cloud, he wants things like HP Up, which is a purple materia that raises the user's HP by percentages the higher the level of materia. You can get a free piece by doing Chadley's Beginner's Hall training in the combat simulator. Steadfast Block is another good purple materia for Cloud as well. The user takes less damage when blocking, and it helps boost the ATB gauge when blocking. First Strike is another purple materia that is perfect for Cloud because it gives a small boost to the ATB meter at the start of battle. For yellow materia starting off, Chakra is great for Cloud because it restores his HP. Assess is useful so that you can get detailed information on enemies that you fight so you know what they are weak to, and enemy skill is super useful. There's actually a fight with the boss called the Mithril Golem when you're leaving the grasslands and going to Junon, and it is completely destroyed by the enemy skill Sonic Boom that comes with the enemy skill materia. When it comes to attack magic like Ice, Fire, and Lightning, it's good just to know what creatures are weak to what. As a rule of thumb, living creatures are usually weak to ice unless they are some sort of ice elemental or some other extenuating circumstances, and robotic enemies are always weak to lightning. Use wind materia on flying enemies. Alright, so now let's talk about synergy skills and abilities. Now, Cloud works great with everyone on his team with a wide variety of attacks that can be used in almost any combat situation. Now, the difference between synergy abilities and synergy skills is this. Skills you can do whenever in combat provided you have them unlocked with your partner character, but abilities need time to build like limit breaks, and they have special cutscene animations. On the folio board, you can tell the difference between skills and abilities by the way the node looks. For skills, they're circles, and the abilities are intertwined arms. You unlock both of these by spending skill points on the folio board either in shops or the little folio kiosk that you can find at rest benches. Now, I only added this part to say that Cloud and Tifa have a synergy skill where Cloud launches Tifa into the air to attack airborne enemies, which is super useful because Tifa's air attacks are really, really good. Aerith can do sort of the same thing with Tifa as well. Now, honestly, if you are new to this game and didn't play Remake, you were sort of limited with what you could do to flying enemies if you didn't have Aerith or Barret on your team in Remake. So it is super refreshing to me that there are so many options to attack a wider variety of enemy types while using your favorite characters. Alright, so that's going to be it for this little breakdown of Cloud. I hope it was helpful. Down in the comments, let me know which direction I should go next, either an advanced guide for Cloud's aerial combat or a breakdown of other characters like Red 13. If you have any specific questions that you want answered, please feel free to ask. My name is VII SGN. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.